My name is Jeff Day, and I'm a member of the zombiegame.com forum, and I'm here today to do a couple of unboxings. I've got Invasion from Outer Space, the Martian game, and I have Last Night on Earth's most recent expansion, as of 2015 May, Blood in the Forest. And I'm going to go ahead and start off with unboxing Blood in the Forest today. So let me just set the other game over to the side here. Okay, so I've messed around with all the other expansions. I own everything except for Timber Peak at this point. A friend of mine has Timber Peak, so I've played with it. I've painted the miniatures for it. This is the only remaining product in the Last Night on Earth line at this point for me, except the extended soundtrack, which I haven't gotten yet. So here I'm going to dig into this. Now I know Samurai Trev already did an unboxing for this, which was helpful for me to look at, but I saw some concerns on the Amazon reviews that people were worried about the quality of the materials in this particular expansion. So that's something I'm going to be looking at here as I open the box. Alright, and we have the rulebook. The rulebook seems up to par with the other rulebooks. Looks really good. Okay, I'm going to set that over here. And here we go with the boards. Now I immediately notice that the boards are warped. I'm not sure that this is going to be an issue. I hope it doesn't get any worse. I don't know if you can tell on the camera here. I'll try to tip it, but they're definitely not flat. But we have forest on one side, and we've got blank on the other, a field. I noticed right away that the forests have random rolling numbers, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6, which I wasn't aware of until now. That'll be interesting to see how that factors in. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4 of those. None of them are straight. And we have some new L-shaped boards. These look better. They're fairly straight. There's maybe a tiny bit of warping, but I don't think it's going to be an issue. The printing is nice and bold and dark. It doesn't look faded at all. The back sides are black, like they have been in the others. We have these new optional zombie spawning pits with the yellow X. They don't have to be balanced with the red pits when zombies are spawned, but they may be used as a spawn pit. That's my understanding of the rule. Okay, so we've got one of these with the old cabin. We've got one with a mine shaft and a thrasher's mill and a whole bunch of spawning pits right here. Very good. And we've got one with a ranger station. The pickups on these are interesting. The pickup here is any first aid or flare. The thrasher's mill was heroes here, win fights on a tie. It's the first thing I've seen like that. And the mine shaft is take dynamite from the hero deck or discard pile and shuffle. And the old cabin was at start of hero turn, roll for each hero here. On 4+, draw a hero card. So those are pretty different. That adds some good variety that makes these really different from the other boards. And the last L board we have has the tower relay and the cliff. The cliff isn't named, but it has a special red line on it. Look at the top 3 hero cards, take any events there into hand. And that's what that board looks like. So we've got a set of 4 L boards right there. And we also have a new center board. We've got a forested center board. And on the other side we have the airfield office, which is the first board I've seen that combines large squares and small squares on the same board, other than these other than the other new boards in this set. Actually, every board in this set does that in some way. Most of the time it's forests that take up a large square with smaller squares around it, with the exception of this center board and the blank boards that have 3 large squares on them. So, airfield office. This board is also warped. And honestly, I don't know if my Last Night on Earth boards are warped or not. I haven't really checked them with this much scrutiny, but I think I would have noticed. I've put them away and taken them out a lot, and I've looked through them. I will definitely add a comment along with this video to tell whether or not I can notice any differences in quality. But really, the print quality on these is fantastic. I feel like my other boards, the ink seems faded slightly, maybe on one side only, but this center board looks beautiful on both sides, so I'm really impressed with that. I'm dropping this into place here, and this gives me a sort of a board. It's not designed to play standalone, but here I go. I have a center board with 4 L shapes spread out. Looks really cool, and then I have these straight boards that can be used to expand the game out. Normally you would build the town, and then you would put these in the middle and be able to add a ring of forest with the other L boards around the outside to make a giant board. The next thing I have here is more die-cut markers. These obviously seem of the same standards and quality of the original game. We have a campfire. We've got an airplane, a little prop plane. It's yellow on one side and it's a orangish red on the other. That's really cool. We have 2 townsfolk markers. One of them is Hearst, and the other one is Frank. He's got a cowboy hat. Oh, I should also say this is my very first time using my Sony Action Cam. I don't even remember the model number. I think it's an AS200, HDR AS200, something like that. So I have no idea how well this video is going to turn out, but I guess this is a review for the camera in a sense as well, or part of that. And I plan to use this camera to take some video of some of our game sessions in my group, and then edit those together and grab some highlight moments and put them up on YouTube in the future. So we've also got here 2 markers with flight plans with the Last Night on Earth logo on the opposite side. And we have 8 experience tokens. No, are these experience? What are these? 8 green markers. I'm just going to call them green markers. I'm not sure what these ones are for yet. I think those yellow ones on the other sheet are experience markers. So these are, they have a number 1 on both sides. Pop these out of here. Okay, And I have 8 pilot markers that have faith on the other side. So on one side it shows a plane, and on the other side it shows a Bible. It's not Father Joseph's Bible because it's not red. Interesting. But this is a different town, Timber Peak. Well, if I were to add it to Timber Peak. In my case, I'm adding it to the base game, Last Night on Earth, with all the other expansions except for Timber Peak. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 of those. And then we have a whole bunch of salvage markers. It looks like 16 of those. And on the other side of those, we have Survivor that looks like a picture of Doc Brody. We have another Survivor marker that's also Doc Brody. It doesn't say his name, so I think those represent a generic survivor. We have a zombie attack, another zombie attack. We have zombie champion, and we have 3 free search markers, 1, 2, 3, and we have 4 that say supplies gain 1 experience. That's pretty cool. And we have 4 that say nothing. Literally the word nothing. So these look like they're similar to the free search markers in the in Last Night on Earth or Growing Hunger, or is it Survival of the Fittest? Whichever one introduces free search. So that's the first set of markers. Very cool. The second page. I have 4 signal flares. Look like that. Very cool. These are hard cardboard versions of the same flare markers that were in the Airstrike web supplement that I've purchased, and that comes on 8.5 by 11 paper as far as the markers. So these are a nice permanent marker to serve that purpose, and I'm sure they have other purposes in the scenarios in here. So 1, 2, 3, 4 of those. So we have 21 experience points here. These are experience points. They say boost on one side and 1 on the other, and they're a golden yellow color. So let's pop all those out quickly here. I really appreciate that Flying Frog chose such a high quality for their die cut markers early on, which allowed them to keep up the quality for all of these expansions. I imagine if they had chosen a cheaper one, I mean, there would have been no way to ever upgrade the quality. So, good decision. I really feel the value in these games as kind of, works of art as I unbox them. So here we have 2 zombie champion cards. These are interesting. These are smaller than the scenario cards and the hero cards. In fact, let me just hold up to show you. That's the size difference in these. Okay. This one is the zombie behemoth. And the other one is the feral dead. And on these, we've got a move and a fight rule. That's really cool. I feel like these cards should almost exist for things like the Grave Dead, to be able to remind you what the special behavior of those zombies is. Move 2 spaces, fight 1 fight dice. It has a cost. For example, the Feral Dead cost 2 spawns, which are shown in green. That makes me think that these green markers must be spawn points. These ones I wasn't sure about earlier. So 2 spawns and 1 experience in order to spawn the Feral Dead. And the Behemoth moves D3 spaces. He's got 2 fight dice. His cost is 6 and 2. And they have special abilities as well. I'm not going to read them all off here. Feral Dead only has 1 hit point like a normal zombie, but the Behemoth has 3. That concludes that second page of markers. And now we have some game scenarios. Lost in the Woods. It looks really detailed. It makes use of the new types of creatures here, and it makes use of a forest-only board setup. We've got Salvage Mission, which uses the Forest Ring, the Airfield board, the Feral Dead. It also looks like it has a lot of detail to it. These are good-looking scenarios here. Escape in the Plain. This one looks a little simpler. It uses the Airfield board, the Feral Dead, the Behemoths. And we have 2 hero characters. Agent Carter, FBI agent. And Sister Ophelia, the reformed nun. Her printing is a little off. Not bad, but she's printed a little high on the cardboard so that these words right here are almost cut off the edge. I noticed the difference even compared to Agent Carter, although his does look a little high. Has a black strip across the bottom. But definitely usable, high quality piece like normal. The words aren't actually cut off, they're just really close to the edge. Looks good though. Looks good. And as far as the scenarios go, I didn't notice any offset in the printing on those that was problematic. Okay, the next thing we have is a deck of cards. These are always a little bit of a pain to get opened. Let me see here. This may or may not work. Or it might break my pen. Looks like I got it. Okay, and like normal, these are high gloss, and they're very crunchy, very stuck together to start with. Here we go. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of the hero upgrades that are defensive upgrades with the shield. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of the melee, or sorry, 5 of the ranged upgrades. We have 5 of the melee combat upgrades. We have 6 zombie upgrades. And we have more cards for the hero deck and more cards for the zombie deck. Now, I actually want to look at some of these and see what they are. I just want to name them because I like to be able to sort my components apart later and recognize what's what. Now, of course, they do all have the BF for Blood in the Forest with the picture of a tree icon in the bottom corner. But to give an idea, two of these are Speed, Quick Training, Iron Resolve, Vengeance. Those are the defensive. Got Shoulder Holster, two of those. Run and Gun, I'll Cover You, and Eagle Eye. Those are ranged. In the melee, we've got two Boxing, Escape Plan, Attack Plan, and Improvised Weapon. And for zombie upgrades, we have Grave Danger, Breakdown, two of those. Every Man for Himself, You'll Only Make Them Mad, and Beyond Reason. Hero deck, I'm just looking through to see if there's anything really outstanding here. Quite a few of the cards feature the new characters, which is good to get them in on the mix. That other Bible is actually Sister Ophelia's Bible. The black cover, or yeah, I think it's a black cover. The golden gilded pages and the red bookmark, the same one that's on those faith tokens, is the Holy Book. It might not even be a Bible. It might be a prayer book or something. It's like there's an emergency radio in here. There's a cool woodsman's axe. Climbing rope. Investigation. Very cool. So those are hero cards. And in the zombie deck, we've got Dark Forest, which looks like it spawns extra zombies in either spawning pits or forest spaces. That's pretty cool. Got a couple of those. There's some cards here featuring Ed Baker and Alice as well. And Nikki. And Sheriff Anderson and Sally. So they've included all the characters from Timber Peak as well in here. Although, I haven't noticed Cartwright anywhere. That's okay. Cartwright's on a lot of things. So that's the zombie deck. You know, I am curious here. Is Cartwright on any of these cards from this other one? From the heroes? No. He probably got a contract with some other company and he's moved on to bigger and better things, and they're not allowed to use his image anymore. No, I'm kidding. And the final thing in this box, other than the plastic insert, is a packet of miniatures. This means more painting for me. Let's see if it looks like fun painting. Okay, so we've got Feral Dead. I apologize here, I feel like I'm about to sneeze. These are really cool. They've got like rags hanging off of them, literally dangling between the arm and the body. I don't know if this will show it or not on this camera. Really cool. Feral Dead. They're very soft minis, very flexible. They seem softer, but I think it's just because their limbs are thinner than the previous. So, one of those, two of those, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now the color on these is really a good a good different color. It's a what I would call kind of a slate blue. Um, yeah, it's a really cool bluish grayish color. We have the zombie behemoths. Two of them. They're in the same pose. Okay. And we have Agent Carter, FBI. Yeah, he looks awesome. He's cool. Very good. Very good, Agent Carter. And Sister Ophelia. Nice design. These are a couple of really nice sculpts. In fact, I feel like these are better than the miniatures in Timber Peak. Slightly better. Especially better than the survivors from Woodenville. Those three, I felt like they were slacking off a little bit on the sculpting. Maybe because they were having to base them off existing sculpts and put them in different poses. These definitely feel really well designed, detailed. Man, the facial features on Agent Carter are really good. His ear, his hair, nose. He does have two ears. His other ear is good too. Yeah, these look good. Sister Ophelia's got a necklace with a crucifix. She's holding that book, presumably a Bible or a prayer book. She's holding a cross out in front of her, like she's warding off vampires. Someone needs to tell her she's in the wrong game. That's not going to work so well on the zombies, but it's a good thought. Cool. These are very cool. Um, I'm impressed. I'm impressed. This looks like it's going to add a lot of fun to the game. I'm mostly excited about the board pieces, actually. All the different combinations and possibilities of expanding the board out in the forested area. So I've rambled on a long time here. That concludes my review of Blood in the Forest, or my unboxing of Blood in the Forest, rather. And I'm going to do another video here on Invasion from Outer Space shortly. Stay tuned for that.